Now, I know that some of you are kind of getting tired of all these budget liner locks out there. So I was just kind of thinking, why not review this brand new button lock from Civivi? So today, I got the Cogent. Right about now, you should be looking at some specs on the screen. They're all measurements. I went ahead, I took them myself, but I'll also have them listed for you down in the description, along with links to buy and if there's any coupon codes. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my merch store. You can get there by clicking on the store tab from my channel page, or just follow the link down in the description, because there's not many places where you can get a t-shirt for $13. All right, here's a couple quick size comparisons for you. They're all Civivis, but I just wanted you to see these all side by side so you can kind of get an idea of the true size of this Cogent. Hey, how you doing? If we're meeting for the very first time, I'm Jay. Welcome to the channel. Go ahead and click on that subscribe if you're looking for knife reviews that get right to the point. All right, now this is how a button lock should be. Not like the giant Elementum, which, hey, I like just fine. But you got to admit, man, that's a pretty bold decision to not have thumb studs or a flipper tab on it. But hey, at least on this one, this time, they got it right. And something else that I've noticed about Civivi is they sure like using the same blade shape on different models. So you can see, yeah, they did it here with the Dogma and then the Ortis. And then down here, again, with this Cogent and with the Relic, this is my kind of clip point blade shape. But you notice that there's one thing missing from it. I got to grab the Ortis here to make my point. So yeah, right next to each other, there's no trailing point at the end. Like you would normally see on more traditional or classic clip point designs, like the Ortis. I honestly wasn't expecting the 14C28N Sandvik blade steel because, Civivi lately, they've been using a lot of Nitro V, but now that I think about it, I guess it's kind of their thing to switch up and use different blade materials. At least that's one of the things I like about them. I would love to know what you think about this, but to me, it's pretty obvious that the Cogent design was heavily influenced by the Boker Strike Automatic here. And after carrying these for a considerable amount of time, they not only look alike, but man, do they feel just so similar in hand. But hey, I don't blame them. I don't blame Civivi one bit because, the Strike has been very popular for Boker, and for good reason. It's a good design. And something else that this reminds me of was that I recently watched this great documentary about, remember that Von Dutch clothing line? Well, it was on Netflix anyway, but there was someone in that documentary that was quoted with saying something along the lines of like, nothing is original, everything comes from somewhere. And it's so true because like originality, especially nowadays, it's really hard to come by. I absolutely love the size of this flipper tab. You can see it's like a lower profile and very discreet. And that's something I'm always looking for, when I'm shopping for a new knife, because then there's going to be less sticking out to get caught on whatever else happens to be in your pocket that day. And when it's open with the smaller flipper tab, we get a lot more usable edge, when we're cutting on a flat surface, kind of like a countertop. One of the first things that I usually check for when I get a new button lock is going to be, detent play. So while the knife is closed, obviously, I'll go ahead and just apply a small amount of pressure here on the flipper just to see, if there's any movement going on. Because, if the build quality is poor, I'm probably not gonna keep it. And if it happens to be a button lock, that doesn't have a flipper, just kind of hold on to the blade spine. And if you shake it a little bit, oh, you'll be able to tell right away if there's any detent play. And for those of you that maybe didn't know, a loose pivot can also cause detent play. So if you happen to check yours, you find some movement, don't freak out just yet. Try tightening up that pivot screw, and usually that fixes it. But hey, so far there's no play, so we're good to go. The entire button lock assembly here, it's really similar in design to the Kaiser Cormorant. Where if you look close enough, you can see you can't really see the inner workings, because that whole assembly goes through the blade tang. Unlike, for example, this ProTech TR3, where, you can pretty much, you can see everything since it's all exposed. Now, I'm not saying that, one is better than the other. They're just two different designs. They did such a nice job on the actual button itself, because as a lefty, I pretty much have to rely on touch, since I can't see the button, when I'm holding it in my hand, but, it's easy to find, and it doesn't rattle. It doesn't rattle at all when I tap on it. And all that means is, it's machined well and everything fits as it should. Now, the action. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's real good. And I did not have to adjust a thing to get it this way, right out of the box. It opens, oh, look at that. It opens easily without any wrist, and it drops shut with zero shake, which reminds me of a test there's another test that I kind of like to do when I get a button lock, because I don't know, it's just kind of fun. So when from the open position, okay, just push down on that button, and then what I like to do is try and immediately then let go, just to see if that blade, to see if the blade will stop, which it actually does. Wow. And now if I keep look at that. I can do that all the way down. Now that's what I call control. So now let's go ahead and try it with the Cormorant. So open position, get it to start to close, and then let go of the button. Ooh, that's hard to do because it likes to drop really fast. No. Not so much. Yeah, it still likes to fall shut when I let go of it. And again, it doesn't mean a thing. It's just something I like to check. Now with the Cogent here, it looks like, that push button motion of deployment, it seems to work the best. I mean, you can certainly go ahead and light switch it, but there's just not a whole lot there to hook your finger on, making a failed deployment more likely to happen. And the Detent is already not really, it's not the strongest one out there, but at least, it is enough to keep the blade closed, because when I'm doing it upside down, I haven't been able to shake it loose. Now, if we check the centering on mine, you can see, oh yeah, ooh, that's just about perfect. And then when it's in the open position, lockup is, oh yeah, that is solid. There's no movement in any direction. We get the standard Civivi deep carry pocket clip with, oh yeah, dash. We get a dash of lefty love thrown in there too. So what do you say we go ahead and try and cut with this 3mm thick blade stock? Let's see how she does. Whoa, did you see that? That knife almost slipped out of my hands. It cut so well. Ooh, that's really good. And you know what? And this is some pretty thick. That's some pretty thick cardboard. And it is like, oh, it's chewing through it like it's nothing. Well, I guess now would be a good time to probably go ahead and ask, is there anything that I don't like about the Cogent? Oh, man, no, not really. I mean, again, you want me to nitpick? Sure, I can go ahead and do that. I wish it had a usable finger choil, instead of just an oversized sharpening choil. And I sure wouldn't mind some other color options because, as of right now, we get this red, purple, or black G10, and then there's even one with a Damascus blade and green micarta scales. But there isn't one with an uncoated blade just yet. So I hope we see one. There's just not really a lot of good affordable manual action button locks out there. There's not too many of them. I mean, there's definitely, there's more now than there was, say, like a year or two ago. But for around $70, yeah, I like it enough that I'd replace it. If it was ever lost or it was broken, if something happened to it, I would totally buy it again. And up on the screen is going to be a video that I went ahead and I picked out personally for you to go ahead and watch right after this one. And don't forget, if you haven't already, go ahead and click on that subscribe. But I got to run. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you at the next video. Take care.